Holy, some awesome weather over the past few days, huh? It's pretty much a blue sky for the most part. Despite my schedules didn't meet up, so I would have went to the mountains instead. Okay, I think I just find somewhere quick to fly, because for the places I have to go to, I can't fly in that area. Even though there's a lot of safe places, you just can't because of the regulations and all that. Most of the stuff that I read today was all YouTube related. There was this interview or something like that with the chief business operator of YouTube. I was like, that's kind of interesting. I thought it would actually relate to some of the stuff that happened here actually with my channel. I know a lot of you were curious, so I thought that'd be interesting to show that as well. I guess I'll have to try one of those smoothies super early today because I don't think there's one of those places in the areas that I'm going. Okay, so I decided to try this one called the Big Blue Protein. It actually looks pretty well made. Still has that texture and stuff that's expected, but yeah, it actually feels pretty solid the way it's basically, put together. So that's kind of good. Another thing I read was kind of interesting today. It said here, drones in mines where men fear to tread. Longtime miner Leon McCrell has found a new way to be a miner without getting his hands dirty. So literally, this guy bought a drone to explore, I guess, the mines. That basically saves him time and I guess a lot of health and safety issues as well. Unless I am interpreting it wrong too. The way he got it is kind of interesting. It just says, he went and bought a drone, he said, adding that he'd always been interested in models since he was a lad. I wanted one with a decent camera and started filming sunsets around Denbighport. So if I'm understanding this correctly, it's almost like someone just said, oh yeah, I've always been interested in it anyway, so I'm just gonna buy it, just for personal use, and now I might as well use it, I guess, like here for his work too. Like, I don't see any issues with stuff like that, but it makes me wonder how that even works just because of some regulations. Like here, wouldn't that be considered as commercial work where you wouldn't be able to do that? Like in my opinion, people should be able to do that. Another thought with that too is I know here in Canada they said during one of the meetings if you're flying indoor then Transport Canada is not regulating that at all. So it makes me wonder if like a cave counts as indoor, whereas the fact that it's done for commercial work, it doesn't matter. So the biggest piece of news that caught my attention was Casey Neistat doing an interview with the chief business operator of YouTube, Robert Kyncl, however you pronounce it. I'm probably butchering the name. From what I gather, the main reason for this was to talk about things happening on the YouTube platform, the people that publish content because of all the controversy. For example, like that Logan Paul thing where he went into the forest in Japan and showed that dead body and all that stuff, and apparently he kept doing it in terms of showing controversial stuff. There was something about tasing an animal or something like that, like it just kept going. So it was basically a discussion, where's the platform going? Are they smaller people, for example, being punished because of stuff like this? What are they doing about it? At the same time, what's the vision for the platform? What kind of creators do they want here? It seemed like there was a lot of questions you couldn't really answer. Like, for example, well, why was that dead body video trending on YouTube for so many days? How did it happen? He didn't really give a clear answer. It was a general, well, a lot of factors, things like people were searching for it, lots of interest in it. And then there was argument of things, for example, how smaller people, in terms of, let's say, like a regular person doing a video seems to be treated differently than a large, I guess, commercial TV talk show that's on YouTube. They seem to get more privileges in terms of what they can, I guess, post without punishment. And generally the answer was they try to treat everyone equally, even though both sides seem to think they favor one or the other. So it didn't really give too much specifics in terms of what they are going to do about stuff like that, but he did make a comment, I guess, because he was asked what kind of creators do you want to see or content, like how do they envision like the YouTube. And from what I saw anyways, it seemed like he said he prefers things like people that do more things like, I guess, news and stuff like that. Like he wants to be educated in some way. Like he was using an example of how, I guess, his daughter wanted to be a vegetarian. They used YouTube videos to find out all the points for it. As well, he stated that he would actually want to see more females on the platform. So that's kind of interesting to actually request for that. Overall, I didn't really get in terms of what they're trying to do, I guess, to support the creators more, to get rid of that, I guess, perception that they care more about, say, big business people than, say, a person, I guess, like myself, creating videos for fun and all that. With that said, though, I thought it would be interesting to give a little update in terms of what happened recently with one of my videos. It actually had to do with the one with the intel showing, for example, the drones, like that world record. Because a lot of you are wondering, hey, what happened? Olympic committee or this? I'm not exactly sure what the specific issue is, because I even inquired about it, saying what was it about it that they didn't want to be shown. because I even seen, like, for example, a lot of them, they're still showing out. They're like, okay, you have no issue with that. But either way, I still haven't got a response. But it kind of made me think in terms of how things, I guess, like this affects like the little people too. Like for a person like me who's just doing it for fun, I don't have any big backings of a manager or anything like that, so I usually have to handle all this stuff myself. Because just to show a funny example, like even with things like, say, copyright claims and all that stuff, I got like a ton of them throughout like the whole year. Just to show you an example, I got like almost over, literally, I've uploaded like what, over 400 videos? Probably about 300 of my videos have had a copyright claim on there, and over again I've always said, no, you do not own the rights to this or whatever, or in some cases I have a license to use this, but they just keep claiming it over and over again. In many ways it's almost like a shoot first, ask questions later, or like in this case it seems like they always favor the person, I guess, who's initiating the copyright complaint first as opposed to whoever actually created it. I mean, in normal circumstances, like say outside of YouTube, if someone has an issue, usually they give them some kind of notice saying, oh, we object to this or whatever, like do something about it. And then they're like, okay, let's see what we can do, right? Even with this company that claimed like over 300 of my videos like that, I even like approached them. I'm like, okay, is there a way we can just stop this? Like, can I just show you like whatever? Here's the record of it. Just stop like pestering me about it, because I obviously have like the license and everything to use this. No response, just over and over again. So it's kind of like the example of how crazy it can be, like for the smaller person like myself. So a little behind the scenes of the things that people go through to publish videos and stuff like that. But at the same time, one funny example, I kept this like this just for me to see how crazy it can go any further. Do you guys remember when I went to that free outdoor symphony and I showed you guys the concert and stuff like that? They were displaying music, for example, like Indiana Jones, Star Wars, like from an orchestra. Well, I guess with the Star Wars, it got claimed for some reason by like companies. Like for me, obviously I don't have like a license to publish like Star Wars music, but this isn't like the soundtrack or anything in terms of like taking note from a disc. It's people playing in an orchestra. I would imagine it's kind of like people making a cappella music, and it's a little different. But in this case here, I was like, okay, let's see what happens. I think you see here, like, there's almost over what, like 13 different content owners trying to claim copyright to this whole thing. It's like stuff like that, you just can't, I don't know, it's like stuff like that, like a smaller guy doesn't really want to deal with, nor do they have the resources. Because I know, like, even in YouTube at times with those claims, even though there's no merit, I know some people did it out of principle and they won, but they still spent like hundreds of thousands of dollars to do that. And in many cases, like even for a person like me, I just like, yeah, forget it. Like, why even deal with that? So in my opinion, the bad thing is if you're going to allow people to be that quick to issue these copyright strikes or whatever, they should be just as quick to have to respond to you. I know, it should work both ways in my opinion, to be fair. But that's still a little update for it. Stairs. I feel like I'm going to the dungeon here. Okay. Great, I'm being kidnapped. Okay.
Undead wizard whose brittle bones are held together only by malice and black magics.
Or has an enchanted +4 to strength.
What kind of places is it bringing me to?
Check it.
Okay. It's got the headphones.
Period. Oh, are you thermal camming everything?
Dual vision. Where's your crazy stuff?
Yeah, like literally everywhere.
Is it?
If there's a nerd fandom, there's something on it. There's something for it in this place. There's a poster for the second Ghostbusters.
A legitimate one?
Yeah, that's one like
Yeah.
I'm always there.
Everything sounds so violent. The Diablo, the Swamp Thing, the Texas Chainsaw.
Hello,
he
camera.
blocks his day-to-day
Hello,
life.
people. Hello, people.
He's from Australia, apparently.
I'm a criminal. I'm a convict.
I don't know what that looks like.
I gotta go right now.
How old are they? Oh, they're like 58 degrees. 47.
Oh, is that thing?
It looks weird.
What's the human body actually? What's my hand at?
What are you doing?
34. 34 degrees?
Because you've been eating that, right?
This is one day I walked
No, I eat red wine. Yeah.
That was creepy. Yeah, about 40.
Nice. You know, is Grace like cold as ice? Because I feel like she would be. I don't have a terrible. I accept him for who he is. Especially
That's the worst shuffling in the world.
the shuffle goes so good. That was really good. Did you know? Everywhere he goes, just don't touch anything for the rest of the night, okay?
All right, see you guys later.